Hey guys, welcome to Let's Play Dark Cloud Part 2. Last time we got the key from the mayor to go into the Divine Beast Cave, and would you look at that? On this game there is actually time. It's the sun, currently blinding me, and you can always see that the clock in the top right hand corner is spinning round, and we get different times of day, as you can see. Okay, now my capture card is going to play up and just piss about until it wants to start working again. So let's use this gate key to get into this key so we can see if we can find this person called Ran. And would you look at that? We're in Divine Beast Cave. Now, touch wood, it's going to stop. It's not going to play up too much this time. Okay, so as you can see, we have a knife in our hand. So we obviously have to have some kind of weapon in this game. And you look positively shocked that he's here again. It's for real this time, James. From here on, you will be put to the true test. I forgot nearly all the voices for all characters, so don't be surprised if I kind of keep changing them up. I don't know, we'll see how it goes. Since you're a beginner, I'll give you a lesson on how to fight in the dungeon. First, to advance to the next floor in a dungeon, acquire the gate key for the door leading to the next floor. Each dungeon has a different gate key. For the Divine Beast Cave, Dran's Crest will be the gate key. The gate key is almost always carried by a monster in the dungeon. You must defeat the monsters to acquire the gate key. Since you can't tell which one has the key, you just have to defeat them all one by one. That's not entirely accurate. You don't have to fight every single one by one. You just keep fighting them until you get the gate key. If that's what you're planning to do. But basically, like he's saying here, you can use Mind Connect to connect. Yeah. You can use Mind Connect to speak with your mind. Basically, and he'll hear you as he shows you with the funny animations. And when he does this, he'll just teleport you from the dungeon back to the real world. But if there are monsters outside, or inside even, sorry, I've got really bad burps at the moment. Oh, hiccups, I can't tell. Anyway, the enemies will try and block it with their evil energies. So, in such cases, use the item escape powder to get out on your own. The non-village chief has lots of it, so be sure to get it before you go. You can also mind connect with me when you go through the gate to the next floor of the dungeon. When you re-enter the dungeon, you can start at the next new level, so you don't have to worry about losing progress. Next, it's on to weapons. Be aware that weapons are breakable. The more you use a weapon, the more it wears, and finally it breaks. Broken weapons will disappear. To prevent weapons from breaking, use the item Repair Powder. It will restore their WHP. The longer you use a weapon by repairing it, the more magic it absorbs from monsters and thus becomes stronger. It's said that when a weapon reaches its full strength, it can change to a more powerful form. Keep that in mind. I will cast a special spell on that dagger you have on you so it will never disappear. But all the new weapons you will get during the quest will disappear once they break, so be careful. Don't waste your hard work by letting a weapon break and disappear. Finally, the important stuff. The Sphere Adler, where I protected and sealed fragments of the world. If you see an Adler, don't hesitate to touch it. You can absorb the contents of an Adler into the Atmomilia by touching it. When you return to the surface, you will be able to begin reassembling these fragments of the world. Oops, today's lesson ran a little long. That's it for the lecture today. Now James, show me your true ability on this quest. You're still going to stand there. Your eyes are slightly less shocked. So anyway, this is the dungeon. Finally on to the first dungeon. Okay, I'm going to go through everything now while we've got the opportunity to do it. Okay, so here obviously we have our character, and then over to the left we have obviously your weapon. Drop an item on here, and it will basically have that effect on a weapon. So the repair powder that I have over here, I could drag onto it if its WHP was empty, but seeing as I haven't actually attacked anything yet, its WHP is full, so that wouldn't work. To the right is defense power, and eating your favourite food increases it. Now, food like bread, cheese, and roast chicken, and there's some other things like bananas and stuff, they won't actually boost up your defense because they're not your favourite foods. They are just ordinary health foods. Okay, that's pretty basic, I think. So below where I have my cursor now, I can't actually go down there, unfortunately. You have a blue bar that's at the moment says 70 out of 70, with a heart next to it, and that's your health, basically, your HP. So at the moment I have full HP at 70. Below that is a picture of a sword and an orange bar, which says 48 out of 48. Now that's your WHP. The more you use your weapon, the more that will go down. Certain enemies with very high defences will wear away at your weapon more, dealing. They'll probably take less damage, and they will do more damage to your weapon. So just beware of defensive enemies. Often metal or rock enemies are quite defensive like that, or big enemies often are as well. You can't really see it at the moment, but there's a tiny little bar beneath the orange bar, which is your ABS bar, and that's basically your levelling up bar. I'll kind of show you more about that when we get onto it. And below that there's like a picture of a hip flask or a gourd and 3 water blobs, and basically those are your thirst meter, and as you go along in the dungeon this will slowly empty itself, and basically you have to fill it back up again, either with something like tasty water, regular water, or premium water, which you get later on, or you can use very specific springs which you find in the dungeon. You can assign items to these pockets over here, which you can access for when you're actually, you know, in... Alright, you can actually assign that, that's a pain. Which you can assign during the dungeon. Now, I don't tend to have these sorts of things here. I tend to get a specific item later on, which basically is an auto repair powder, which means when you break your weapon, you can fight with your weapon, and if it breaks, it doesn't matter. This auto repair powder kicks in and repairs it for you, so you haven't got to worry about breaking it until you run out of auto repair powders in your inventory. So yeah, that's pretty much the item screen. The weapon screen, at the moment we only have the dagger, and as you can see, there are 6 slots for weapons, meaning there's more characters to come, but we'll see about that later. And this is your attachment stuff, but of course at the moment this is empty because I haven't picked up any attachments. Okay, into weapons. As you can see here, you can wield up to, I don't know how many it is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can wield up to 10 weapons at a time. Actually, that's pretty obvious. You can customise them with attachments and stick them into either a plate or a blue plate, which basically allows for synth spheres. Now, what synth spheres are is when you level up your weapon to level 5, you can break it down and into an attachment, and it gets basically this broken down weapon has 60% of its original stats on it, and that will be transferred to any weapon that you put it into. But the effects only become permanent after you level up a weapon with it in it. But be aware of when you do that, that synth sphere totally disappears. As the same goes with any other normal attachment. Okay, so that's your WHP. There's your absorption, or ABS. Abs, as I like to call them, I don't know why. Basically, it's experience points for your weapon. It's pretty simple. So that's your attack stat. At the moment it's pretty weak, because this is this is a pathetic weapon. It's a starter weapon. Obviously, you're going to get better weapons as you go along. As your endurance, which obviously means how fast your WHP goes down. Speed is, well, it's kind of, I'll have to show you that when it comes to it. And magical power, well, the easiest way to show that is, here at the moment, as you can see, I have 4 wind points and nothing else, and that's the active element. Now, what magic does is affect, the higher your magic is, the more damage that element, well, the more damage you'll do with an elemental attack, but you obviously get an elemental stat as well, which directly affects how much that singular element does, or how effective it is. Well, it's kind of more like how effective it is on on enemies that actually have a weakness to it. So you could use a wind with 4 power on, say, a basic skeleton enemy which is in here, or a cave bat or whatever. Actually, that's probably not a good example. Cave bats aren't a good example there. An ordinary skeleton, and it would probably do about the same amount of damage at 4 as it would at around 30 or something. Maybe a little bit more, obviously, but not much more because the skeleton isn't weak to the wind element. But a skeleton would be weak to fire or holy. So if I had 4 fire at the moment and attacked a skeleton, obviously it would do more than a non-elemental attackers, because you can unequip elements and make them completely neutral. But obviously fire would do more damage equipped than it would unequipped. But having a higher fire stat would directly affect how much damage you do to that skeleton. But wind wouldn't, if you can kind of see where I'm going with this. It's kind of hard to explain. I'll kind of show you more in practice, I think. And this is your sort of, this is kind of like an extra sort of stat screen where you've got how much damage you do to specific types of monsters with your attacks. So it's a very confusing mathematical equation based sort of thing. Obviously I'm not looking into it too much, but well, anyway, at the moment it only has 4 anti-beast on it, so it does extra damage to animals and that sort of thing. And obviously you can select your attribute here. As for speed, in the case of this guy, in the case of me, when you, as you just saw that bar at the bottom that says speed, which is now refilling, emptied, and that's your speed stat is directly shown there, and the speed is kind of how fast it goes down. Now in the case of the sword guy, it pretty much empties itself, I think, every time. But the speed will affect how fast the bar refills, and depending on which character you're using, later on, the speed directly affects how fast the bar refills. So here we go. This is a basic combat. As you can see, we've got an enemy that looks like kind of a hedgehog with a giant mallet sort of thing. Above it, it has its name, obviously. It's a dasher, and that HP bar kind of reflects how much health it has. So as I attack, you see it goes down, but if you didn't notice, a number appeared above his head. I'll show you again. Which said 6, and that's how much damage I'm doing, and you can kind of work out how much health he has. So at the moment I've done 12 damage. You can assume he has around 24 health, but, well, maybe less than that. Maybe 20 or something. Now watch out for cave bats, because they are known to poison you. See? It's kind of hard to play on it. I'll get used to the lag, I think. Okay. So first off we want to use our potion. Press square on it once you've highlighted it, and then you use it. So now I just want to get myself back up, and I use the bread as well. I'll keep the water there because that would probably be quite useful. As you go along you have treasure chests, big and small. Big ones either have the happy clown in it, which gives you a choice between a big box and a small box, and what you get inside those boxes will be random. Small boxes tend to give you smaller items, but the advantage of the smaller items is sometimes they can be very valuable, like gemstones. which are high-leveled attachments, which can give you multiple effects at a time, whilst a single attachment will give you... a normal attachment will only give you a single effect. So anyway, he's down. This is the first Atla we've got, so let's open it. And it absorbs a bit of road into my arm. To the Atla on my... whoops. Damn it. To the Atla on my arm. So that's going to come flying out into my hand, and I've got Macho's house. I don't know if it's Macho. I always call him Mako, because Macho is just a ridiculous name for someone. But I've got Mako, basically. So, as you can see on the right, it says floor 1. Next to it are 2 items, which you find nearly every single floor as long as you open every single treasure chest, which I advise on. And beneath that, sort of to the left, is the map. As you can see, I'm the little pink arrow that's moving on it. In fact, I'm going to go down here. There is quite a delay between when I press the analog stick and when it actually has an effect. So ideally what I'd like is to be able to play this on my TV at the same time. I think I've got a solution which I need to play about with a little bit before I get it sorted. But okay, so this is one of those rooms I was talking about where we've got a fountain. Basically they refill your health and your water. And as you can see under my WHP bar, like I was talking, there's a blue bar which is slowly filling up. That's the ABS bar, like I mentioned, or abs, whatever, absorption points. Yes. See, that's ridiculous sometimes. You gotta be careful though, especially later on when you're just mashing away at enemies. So let's just open these chests, because higher leveled enemies later on just kind of give you a bit of a pain. Well, they can do at least. So this is a special thingy. I kind of call them happening spaces. I know that's from Mario Party, but basically when you step on one, a event will happen. Sort of, let's see what it does. So it's basically pumped me with energy and given me the status of stamina, as you can see up there next to the blue crystal, which basically points out where random enemies are in the dungeon. So as you can see now on the map, there's a sort of there's loads of dots over there, red, orange, green traffic lights basically. What that signifies is that, well, red are obviously enemies, yellow are treasure chests, and green are atmospheres. My stamina ran out. That was a bit of a shame. Because you don't really get it for long unless you actually take a stamina drink. And oh wow, a big treasure chest already. That's really awesome. They're usually quite rare. And as I said, the other thing they have are weapons. I didn't finish with that. I was talking about the Lucky Clown or whatever he's called. But yeah, you can either get that or you can get weapons. Another thing you can do, which I didn't really show you there, is defend with your knife. So let's just use this repair powder. I was just showing you how you do it there. Most of the time I tend to go into weapons and then dish like that. But anyway. There's still quite a few enemies left, which is... So, oh yes, now often treasure chests will be locked, and as I don't have a treasure key yet, I'm going to have to guess the trap, and I usually go with poison. An explosion at this point doesn't do too much damage. Later on they can. Whoops. You've got to be quite patient if you're playing this on a capture card and there's delay. So let's see what weapon I got. Okay, I got a bone rapier. Now bone rapiers are a bit rubbish, but they're considerably better than what I'm using at the moment. They have 5 power and ice. I don't think they have any they haven't got any animal effect on them. But I'm going to carry on with the dagger for the sake of levelling it up, because it's close to being levelled up. What you can do is grind off your dagger, because it never breaks, but you can synth-sphere it. So what I often do is make sure I get the dagger up to like level 5, and then synth-sphere it, and by that point I should have like, it should basically give me an extra 6 attack, give me quite a lot of endurance, and it should basically max out the speed of whatever weapon I put it into. So it's not a big deal. But as for this point in the dungeon, I can actually leave if I so wish. And the Gooey Peach. The Gooey Peaches are... Well, what you do is... I can demonstrate, I suppose. I'm pretty sure I'll come across more of them. I'll keep this fire gem for now, because they're quite useful. I don't want to give it to him. Because basically, Gooey Peaches, if you throw it at an enemy, they become slow. They've got the gooey state on. Which is a bit of a pain, but it's not too bad. So this is a really long episode, I'm really sorry, but I just kind of want to show you what a floor of a dungeon looks like. If necessary, I will speed them up a little bit in Camtasia by like 10%. I don't know if I can do something where I mess with the volume, well not the pitch of my voice, so that I can try and bring it down a bit, so it just sounds like I'm talking fast rather than talking squeakily. But there's no point, there's no sense putting any attachments on it apart from speed. I tend to get rid of speed because they are really quite useless. Okay, so now that's up a level. I will switch to Bone Rapier because undoubtedly I will get a better weapon by the end of the dungeon. I'll go find a better one in the chest if necessary. Step through that. And open this chest. So this should give me the bone key, which, yep. You can always tell when, if you look on the map, if you see like a sort of orange bar which blocks your way between two rooms, generally speaking, it will be opened with a key. Later on when you get more characters, it will be opened by other things. No, mostly they're weapons. Okay. Just wanted to get him off my back. So let's just throw this Gooey Peach at him. Didn't do any damage, but look how slow it's made him. So that does considerably high damage, but due to the nature of the weapon, it's rather weak, actually, unfortunately. So I've killed every single enemy on the level. Now I could, in theory, escape if I wanted to, but I am going to just make my way there because, well, it makes more sense to me, I guess, to do it this way. I guess when I go home I can, if I'm doing any record, well I definitely will be doing some LPing over the summer. I might try and do Resident Evil for the GameCube, perhaps. Resident Evil 1, or the remake, maybe. That way I can play off my TV and use my obviously use my capture card. But I can. The concept is I can play off my TV and not have to. Oh, I've gone right past it. Ha! Play off my TV and not have to use the capture, not use my laptop as my screen, which is what I'm doing at the moment, and because my TV doesn't have an output. So what I really could do is a splitter where I stick it in, and it gives me two lots of outputs, one that I can stick into the TV and one that I can stick going out. So, and I think I have a SCART thingy at home, so maybe I can have a look at that. That'll be cool. So I'm just going to leave now. Obviously I don't want to do another floor, even though you can effectively stay there and do another floor. But we've got another cutscene now. With the game. You can see my game is scratched by the fact he's walking on the spot. seems you finally came back with some Atla. Very well then, I shall teach you as I promised. The pieces sealed inside Atla are released by touching the Atla with your left hand, where the power of the Atlamilia resides. Buildings and people that were sucked into the Atlamilia will be restored to their original form. Once you bring them back to the ground level, you can arrange them as you wish. He's just going to keep walking into him. By going back and forth between the dungeon and ground level, you can restore the Earth to its original form. That's your mission as the one who was granted the power of Atlamilia. Now let us move on. This may get a bit technical. If you want to place buildings, etc., press the select button while walking and go to edit mode. Press the select button again to return to the walking mode. In edit mode you can reassemble the buildings that have fallen apart and place them on the ground. Seeing is believing. Try it yourself. Must be faster than listening to my lecture. Yeah. Oh yes, and if you ever forget the things that I teach you, use this. Manual acquired. It's a guide for using Atlamilia and other things. I wrote it for beginners like you. Manual can be selected. The manual. Manual can be selected from the main menu. Read it carefully. Read it carefully. Okay, I'll leave this world's reconstruction to you. I'll be watching. So long. And you're like, you fucker. Well, there we go. So, I am going to end the video here. I will see you all next time. Sorry it's been such a long one, but I kind of wanted to get all that out of the way. Hopefully the rest of them will be a bit shorter. But anyway, I will see you all next time on Let's Play Dark Cloud.